Now, you see, rushing to build your home when you're young, because, hey, it's the ultimate dream and the society dictates and says the first thing that you should think about the moment you start getting money, and you're barely getting by. You're not even financially stable, but you're rushing to build your home when you're young. It is not the best idea. Actually, it's a bad idea for me to put it in a black and white way. And by the way, before I even start discussing on this topic, this is not an emotional topic. This is a very logical topic. And you know, if you do not trust your emotions, you don't trust your logic, just keep away from this video, because I'm going to speak the brutal truth on this video. And by the way, you're welcome to make a comment on the comment section. But this is the disclaimer I'm going to give you. Before you even comment, just think of what I'm going to talk about. Just think through, don't feel through. If you feel through, you never get the idea. Anyway, just because I've already given you the disclaimer, let me go ahead and say, hey, if you're first time watching my videos, my name is Joseph. Talk about cash, talk about investment, and anything related to exactly that. And guess what? On this video, you get the real things. I don't sugarcoat anything. I speak the truth the way it's supposed to be. And by the way, if you are just a returning, sort of a watcher and you've never subscribed, down below there is a small button written subscribe. It is in black. Hit that magical button. I mean, seriously, I'm waiting for you to do that so that we can. Thank you. Thank you. Also like the video. All right, let's get into the business. Now, here you are, you're young, you're getting money, you've been employed, or you're just doing your own things, and maybe you're self-employed, and guess what? You got some cash, some cash here. Yeah, it's not that big, huge amount of money, but hey, at least you got some cash. Maybe you have $1 million, Bob. You have like 2, 3 of something of sort. It's the first time you've access to your 2 million, the first time you have access to your 1 million or something of sort. And then there is thing that you've been programmed with the society since we were growing up. Hey, you know what? Go to school, get good grades, and once you do that, get your house, or rather go buy your house, or maybe buy a piece of land, start building, and all those kind of things. And guess what? There is nothing wrong with owning a home. I love it. I would love it. Everybody loves it. But when to do it, that's when I'm drawing the line. For example, I'm going to give you a very simple example. Here we have an individual who is employed, okay? This individual, for their first time in their life, they have 4 million. For their first time in their life, they have 4 million. 4 million, okay? Now, this 4 million is the first time they have gotten this amount. They have never seen this amount of money. Say maybe you've achieved this target through saving, or maybe let's say maybe you've, I don't know, you've just accessed the 4 million with you, or 2 or 3 or 1, or whatever the amount of money, all right? Now, here you are, you're contemplating now, guess what? I'm going to get out of the rental houses. I'm going to build myself a house. And the mistake that people do is that you go get a piece of land, okay? And obviously, when you have this amount of money, you're going to think about a piece of land that is worth $1 million, Bob, and up. Say you get a piece of land that is worth 1.2 million, okay? You get a piece of land, you're remaining with 2.8, okay? Now, this 2.8 million, that's what I'm going to build yourself a house. And now the problem is you go get a 50 by 100 piece of land. There you go, you centralize your house here. You build a house worth 2.8 million Kenyan shillings. And guess what? Obviously, you ain't going to build a dream house with 2.8 million, bearing in mind that there is a high cost of living and the cost of production in terms of those equipment that you need to build. Now, this is the amount of money that you have out there for you to actually build that house. Now you go ahead and build that home, and it's true, you have a perimeter wall. Congratulations, now everyone in the society tells you now you have made it, you have a home, amazing. Guess what happens now? You go back to the normal hustle. So if your hustle was maybe giving you like 100 G's a month, okay, you go back to that hustle. Or maybe your hustle was giving you like 50K a month, or maybe this amount of money, which is 4 million, you have acquired it through a loan. But now the first thing you think about is buying a piece of land and building a house. Okay, guess what happens? You go back to if you took maybe 4 or 5 years to accumulate the 4 million, you're going to take another 4 years to get the same amount of money. Or if it was 10 years, you're going to take the same period of time. And if maybe it was a loan, you're going to pay this loan, I don't know, for the next 7 or 6 or 10 years for you to repay this loan. Now, this is where I'm saying you're supposed to be very smart. Okay, now building a home when you're young is not really the best idea. You know why? In life, there are two things, okay? And life is actually divided into two options and two sides. See, when you're young, or there is something called growing money. See, there's something called growing money, and there is something called storing money. See, when you're young, you focus. When you're young, you focus on what? You focus on growing money. What can I do? I've accessed the 4 million. What can I actually do to actually have a financial? You see, there is a problem, I don't know, not even Africans, like global problem. And the problem is this: the moment you get money, the consumption mentality gets in. You think the way you can get this amount of money and possession. I understand we are all selfish human beings. Now you think, I can be able to get a piece of property and build myself a home. Now you ask yourself, Why do richer always become richer and the poor becomes poorer? Why? Because the moment you get money, instead of viewing this money as an opportunity to make more of it. By the way, if you give an individual who has a rich mentality, you give them the 4 million, and you give up an individual who has an opposite mentality, the rich person will always think, okay, fine, what can I use or what can I do with the existing 4 million? They don't even think about acquiring a home. They ask themselves, what can I actually use with this 4 million so that I can be able to grow this amount of money and be able to progress to the next level? This individual, they would rather get the same piece of property, they build a home, maybe some few units, and they sell those units. For example, I saw somewhere people are selling a unit worth $1 million bob. They take that 50 by 100, they divide it to several units of 1 bedroom. Once they finish to build that specific units, they say, hey, guess what? A unit for sale for $1 million bob. And maybe out of the 4 million bob, you can make another 2 million. Now you have 6. Now you are multiplying the money if you want to play the safe way. Because I know if I tell you to start a business, you might say the business will fail or something of sort. Or instead of you getting this 4 million, going to build that in that piece of property, which is 50 by 100. It's a very common size of land in Kenya. So 50 by 100. So this is 50 and this is 100. Instead of going and building your house in a centralized place, your own home, and you fix yourself in one geographical location for the rest of your life. Come on, you don't do this. You are young. You're supposed to migrate. If you live in Kisumu, you don't even know what you can perform. You don't even know what 4 million can get you in Nairobi. You don't even know what 4 million can get you in Mombasa. You're not moving. Now you fixed yourself in one geographical location. You have your food here. You bring your families here. You go back to the normal hustle. Yeah, the society will perceive you as you're successful. But if you do the same thing that the society are doing, and then you're expecting a different result, obviously, will I be wrong if I say you are ignorant? Now, instead of building this, well, if you must then build a house, why don't you go ahead? In Kenya, there is this popular way of building, whereby you find there is a line of rental properties on this end, and there is another one on this end. Okay, you find maybe there are units of 1 bedrooms on this side, and there are other units of 1 bedroom on this side. Okay, why don't you do this? Yeah, instead of building your own home, why can't take this piece of property, come here and build maybe, let's say, a 2 bedroom on the same line, okay? And then maybe that 2 bedroom, maybe let's say approximately 1 bedroom will cost you like 600 or 650 or something. Let's say $1 million bob gets you that unit. And then the rest 1.8, why don't you fix another unit of few 1 bedrooms? So let's say maybe like 4 of them or 3 of them. Once you are where you can live in that piece of property, and then you have another 1 unit of another 4 units of 1 bedrooms. Now 4 times 1 there, obviously that gives you gives you 4 multiplied by rental income per month. Maybe those units you're renting them at 7,000 per month. Now guess what you have? You have 28,000 Kenyan shillings at the end of the month. Now these 28,000 Kenyan shillings at the end of the month, this can pay your bills, can pay your electricity, can pay your water. To an extent, it can even pay for your school fees. Therefore, your normal hustle that you're doing each and every day, guess what I'm gonna do? You're gonna actually go ahead and save that amount of money. You accumulate a certain amount of money, you add another unit here, you rent it out. You go to the other end, the other side, you build another 1 unit, you rent it out, you build another unit. By the time you realize 1, 2, 3, whatever, the entire piece of land, which is 50 by 100, is full of units, plus included yours. You're not paying rent, but the property is actually earning you something. But this issue of hastening the dream, hastening the dream, you're rushing into getting something, you're barely getting by. You're not even good in financial. This is the first time you're getting this amount of money. And by the time now you feel this piece of property, you can even decide to resell this entire property. Remember one thing, when you're young, focus on growing money, not stop. See, when you start getting a piece of property and you're building your own home, you're playing the old game. What do we mean the old game? Like you are behaving as if you're 50 or 60, you're about to go and retire, and you don't want to go and retire in a rental houses. So now you're building. See, when you're young, you're supposed to think about how you can grow it. By the time you realize the piece of property has actually filled with the units, maybe you're getting maybe like 8 units or 9 units or something of sort. Now you can decide even to sell this entire unit. Maybe you can sell it at 7 million, 8 million or something of sort. Haven't you doubled the amount? You've doubled the amount. You get the 80 million, go get a little bit of a better place. You can follow the same procedure, or you can a little bit diversify. By the time you're doing that, and maybe you're saying you're 40, 45, 50, 60 there, you have some several units. You're already getting yourself in touch with the real estate. That is exactly how you grow yourself. This issue of getting 1 million, you're thinking about if you get to the first time you get your first 1 million, you're thinking about where can I get a piece of land? Where can I get a piece of land? You go get a piece of land in a very remote place whereby the land is not even appreciating at a very high rate. You'd rather even get that money into a treasury bill, or rather treasury bond. Right now, as we speak, in Kenya, there is a treasury bond that auction result came out. It was 18.4%. See, 18.4% from $1 million bob. That's over 184,000 per year. 184,000 per year. Divide that by 2 because they pay you 2 times in a year. You have 90 something thousand. You have another 190 something thousand. As you think about it, if you were to retain that amount of money in maybe, let's say, in 4 or 5 years time, how much would have gained? You see, those are the questions that you ask yourself. When you are young, focus on growing money, grow money. The problem is this: you get a little bit amount of money out there, you are excited, then you listen to the old, what do we call it? Old kind of an advice or something of sort. There is this ultimate dream of building your own home. Get your own home is the best thing. Get out there. Listen. I know this is a very emotive issue. Some of you guys will agree with me, or most of you guys will agree with me, because I believe those who follow us here understand what I'm saying. Okay, if you're watching me for the first time, you might likely be like, damn, you're saying we shouldn't be even at home? Yeah, absolutely. And then the moment you start now doing this, the moment you have a unit one that is working, you have another piece of property. Now, whatever you're getting as a baby money, aka passive income, now that's what you use to now acquire your home. Why? Because you already have an existing cash flow. And people don't get it right. For example, you find somebody, they have tried through thick and thin. They have managed to get this amount of money, maybe let's say 2 million or 3 million. You get this amount of money, you go fix yourself in one geographical location. You've barely gotten out of Kisumu. You've barely gotten out of yourself in that town that you are in. You don't even know what that amount of money can get you out there. You see, when you travel, when you explore different areas and different opportunities, you might be shocked. Sometimes I tell people, sometimes I tell people, if you have this 4 million, instead of going buying some properties in the interior, you can even go somewhere and buy a piece of property worth like half of this amount of money, 2 million. That's what I tell people. If you want to grow money, if you have 4 million, yes, go get a property that is worth even 1.5. I mean 2.5. Yeah, I know that is very high. It is true, but you're gonna get yourself a quite a well-primed place. Then go buy yourself some few containers, make some few units there, rent them out. You get some, for example, if you get a very good, nice place whereby you can buy that piece of property, go get yourself some few 20-foot containers, make yourself some stalls which you can rent them out. If you must own something, you see, if I'm saying if you must own something, rent all those units out there. Maybe you have like 10 of them or 12 of them. One you're renting, because they're business things, you're renting at 10,000. You have your 100 G's at the end of the month. Come on, within a certain period of time, you're getting some cash. Think on how you can grow your money. Don't look for comfort. Because you going out there and building that home, that you're looking for comfort, you're looking for that surety, you're looking for that thing. You're supposed to focus on growing your cash out there, expanding your territories. And the moment you think about expanding your territories, expanding your cash, that's the time now you're talking about growth. But this is a disclaimer. If you're getting this amount of money and you're aged 50 and above, obviously you do not have much of the time on your side of trying, here and there. Obviously, you need to play a very safe game. If you are young, if by any luck you got this amount of money when you're at your 20s or maybe say early 30s, go ahead and try to, have that aspect of risk appetite, a little bit of it in yourself. Obviously, it's a calculated one. And if you approach life with this mentality, and by the way, I want all of us to go and converge on the comment section. The moment you see an individual who will type like, hey, your business can fail and whatever, just pray for them, pray for them, because it is true that can happen. But the question is this: if you reason that way in life, you ain't gonna develop, you ain't gonna grow. Because I always tell people, for you to be an entrepreneur, for you to be a business individual, you must have two characteristics. Number one, you must be a risk taker. Two, you must be crazy. When I say crazy, I don't mean like being insanely crazy. I mean like you being an individual who sees differently or different things compared to others. That is exactly, those are the kind of mentality. That's the kind of a mentality that you're supposed to have. If you start reasoning that way, we're going to break these chains of poverty. It is true. And people gonna seize out of this mentality of, hey, by virtue of you having a piece of land somewhere, now you're termed as rich. No, there are people who do not even have tangible things. There is an individual seated somewhere and they have an app, they eat and drink and they make a lot of money. It is true. For example, if I ask you, if Zuckerberg was to be told, hey, front your what you own, if somebody like Jeff Bezos, front what you have, they cannot even front something. They just have a cloud thing, a virtual thing out there. The moment you start making money out there, now you can channel it. The moment you realize now you're becoming stable financially, you go towards having and acquiring properties. And this is what I'm going to end with. And I hope you watch this until the end. I have not said that you should never build your home. That is my disclaimer. I did not say that. If you are young and you have a good amount of money, if you have 10, 20, 30 million, you're okay. You have good cash flow. It's okay. You can go ahead and do what? And build it if you have the capacity. I'm referring to people who you find them, they are struggling, they are straining. It's the first time they get this amount of money. They are off the roof. They're thinking about acquiring the property. Instead of them thinking, what can I do to multiply my income? What can I do to actually grow myself using this amount of money? If you find yourself you're struggling, you're barely getting by, please don't rush into acquiring some things. But if you know you're okay, you're financially stable, you have good cash flow, go ahead and buy and go ahead and build that specific thing. I love properties, I love owning a home, and everyone should do. But when to do it, that's where we draw the line. For now, it's a goodbye, but never forget, my number is always on the description of this specific video. Take that number, give me a call. I offer those services, obviously at a cup of coffee's price, meaning it's quite affordable for anyone who is out there, okay? And for that, I literally empty my brain and share with you about investment. For now, it's a goodbye and see you